Hello. Man, no t-shirt for me today. I shaved, no
Yes,
t-shirt.
yes. Looking
I,
good, Texan. I like the
you,
studio. Congratulations.
oh, thank you very much. We're still unpacking and we've been running around, my daughters and I, trying to get situated for today. We
Yes.
were supposed to do some things yesterday, but we just didn't get it unpacked in time. But I said, no matter what, we're doing this show, you and I, today, even if I had to go out on my balcony and do it outside and hold up the phone. It's good to see you, my friend.
Nice to see you too. I like the new lighting. I like the new setup. Looking crisp and
Well,
sharp.
thank you. I'm trying to catch up to your standard at some point. I'll be able to catch up to your standard.
Yeah.
You look fantastic today. How are you feeling, my friend?
I feel good. I feel good. This week, something very interesting happened to me, and I want to right away address it, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, thank God I am educated about narcissists now, and I
Oh,
know
wow.
red flags, because I'm working with new people in the fashion business, and there are two narcissists, two grandiose narcissists that I'm working with. And one of them, of course, tried to use me. Men always want two things, either it's sex or money, and he didn't get both. So he dropped me this week. But since I understand who I'm dealing with, I don't take it
Okay.
personal, you know?
Good. Good. I get what you're saying. So that is actually something that I wanted to, interesting enough, end the show on, which was just the very thing you said, not taking it personal, because we began to learn who we're dealing with. So I'm looking forward to you actually meeting a man that wants companionship more than the other two things that you mentioned. As I've come to appreciate, maybe being 60-ish here, is that a man who wants companionship is a man that usually wants to be with a woman forever. But that takes maturity on his part. But anyway, that's a whole nother show. We could do a whole nother show on that, but I better get off my soapbox. I want to run some things by you that, well, you wrote them out. I'm just going to repeat them. When you sent me some information about the 12 principles.
Yes.
That's been a hit on the show. You really might want to consider putting those together. And you know what you sent me, so you may want to consider possibly posting them or whatever you'd like to do. Of course, it is your preference. They are your words. But
Yes.
I want to get to this, and as much as we can get to within the time we have today. So here we go. I'm going to mention these points that you highlighted, and you
Mhm.
just have at it. You just have at it. Just say whatever and expand on them. But please keep this in mind. There are a lot of younger people that are watching the show now than ever before.
Oh.
The ages continue to get younger that are watching the show.
Mhm.
So our age group now has gone from, it used to be the youngest at 35, and it is now 16. The analytics show the ages from 16 to 35 that are really watching the show. Many of them are learning from individuals just like yourself. So let's give some advice today. It's coming from you, but I'm going to say this. Here we go. First one of the things that you wrote was forgive yourself and others. That's challenging and it's difficult, without a doubt, for many. But why is it important, my friend, for us to learn that lesson? What's your advice when it comes to forgiving yourself and others?
Yeah, forgiving is, I would say, is probably the hardest out of all the stages. There's the stage of, experiencing what happened, then accepting. But in order to move on, you have to forgive. I mean, I don't want to emphasize have, but for me, what I had to learn was to forgive myself,
Okay.
meaning that I know that it was not my fault. It has nothing to do with my personality. What happened to me, the abuse, the emotional abuse, the verbal abuse, financial abuse, sexual abuse, whatnot, it has nothing to do with myself. I was not educated enough to know with whom I'm dealing with. But now that I know better, I'm educated, meaning I know the red flags of
Yeah.
narcissists. I know who I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with
Right.
some, and I look at it. Maybe it's not politically correct, but I see it as somebody is mentally sick. You know, there's somebody has a personality disorder,
Mm-hmm.
and I forgive myself for allowing it for all those years to happen to me and to accept it, you know.
Okay.
But once I got
To accept the abuse is what you're saying. Is that
it,
what you meant? Okay.
yes,
You accepted the abuse,
yes,
which, and then you had to turn around and make sure that you forgave yourself for allowing yourself, is what you're saying.
yes, because I did not know that
Yes.
it abuse. These situations, I felt very alone and isolated, and it happened to me. And there's the trauma bonding, you know, that in public, he was always very nice and loving and giving and
Yeah.
understanding, but at home, quite the opposite. So, of course, he was the love of my life, and I just forgave too easily all the time, you know. So I forgave myself, and in order to do that, I had to really soul search. I tried different avenues. I of course asked God
Mm-hmm.
to help me with forgiveness. You know, I'm part of a praying circle with my friends. We pray
Okay.
every together, and I read books about forgiveness, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I forgave myself first, and then I forgave the other person as well, because it is just part of their thinking that they cannot change. It's just who they are, you know,
Mm.
and they see it as abuse. They don't see it as abuse at all.
When you were going through the process of forgiving, what what made you finally decide you weren't going to torment yourself anymore or hold it against yourself anymore, and that you were going to, one of the things you say next is move on? How did you find yourself moving on? It no doubt was not easy.
Yes, the moving on part is probably the most difficult for a lot of people, because they're so stuck in the past, in all the experiences that happened to them. And what COVID-19 also taught me is that you're living in the present. And most of your thoughts are in the past with the abuse. It has nothing to do with the reality right now that we're living in, you know? So for me to move on, I had to learn to really live in the present
Okay.
and filling my day with joy and happiness. And personally, what makes me happy is live music and fashion. This is especially live music. It's makes
Mm.
my body, I experience it on beautiful and happy. And I try
Yeah.
to go to live music shows nearly every single day and just live in the moment, accept what happened in the past, get educated that it will not happen with other people
Okay.
again, you know, and live in the moment. Let it go. Okay, it happened. It was not my fault. I know better now. I try to only surround myself with loving people who accept me and treat me well and basically worship the ground that I walk on. You know,
uh,
this,
you have got you so you've gone from a moment in life where people disrespected you
yes.
to this part of your life now where the very ground that you walk on is holy. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it's because
I'm giving you a hard time. Go ahead.
now I dress very differently. You know, now,
No, no, really? Yes, I've seen pictures of you of before, so that you've posted. Yes.
yes, yes,
So you don't wear a jean jacket and jeans anymore? Is that what you're saying?
yes, I wear a jeans jacket, but I still bling it up, you know. I like shoes and
There's
lots of
sequence. Yes.
clothes.
Okay. All right.
It's never really simple, you know. So now I let the artist come out, the artist, the designer, you know. I feel fashion. I dress how I want. I put makeup on the way I want, and extensions, hair
Okay.
extensions.
So I have to ask you that. I have to ask you. So did you feel? I'm just asking. Okay. Because this is today. You're giving advice to everybody from some of the principles that you wanted to highlight to everyone. Because Narc Abuse TV Network is about people coming on and sharing their story, sharing their strength to encourage others. And I'm looking at Burn Official. Thank you, my man, for some of the words. I'm going to read those out in just a moment. And Ann, I notice Ann is here and others are stepping in. Today is more of you giving advice, but you started the show off by talking about there was someone that came into your life that proved to be not good for you, and you started to see the red flags, and now that's done and over with.
Yes, absolutely.
When you were living a life not seeing the red flags, not knowing anything about what you know right now about narcissism, did you feel trapped emotionally?
Oh, yeah.
Describe that for the viewers.
Yes, I felt for many years very trapped. And I went to a psychiatrist about it, and they gave me all kinds of different medications, like anti-anxiety medication, anti-depression medication, sleep medications, Valium, because I had this feeling of being trapped, not just emotionally, but also physically. I could not really live my life the way I wanted to live my life. I always heard, you know, don't wear makeup, don't dress like this. You have to be, you're a mother now, you have to look respectable.
Wow.
And I could not meet certain girlfriends and go out alone. It was always very controlled. And I remember sitting, yeah, at for hours in the morning, just looking out in the garden and feeling this entrapped, alone, isolated feeling, you
Hmm.
know. And at that time, I also had to say I did not have an iPhone either. For the longest time, I refused to be addicted to the iPhone, and I got the iPhone maybe 4 or 5 years ago. You know,
Wow. Okay.
also notice that when you don't have an iPhone, you are really like cut out from the rest of the
Yeah.
world, you
I
know?
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a combination. And then he always went alone to Miami, and I always wanted to come to see friends and family, and I was just not allowed, you know?
Wow. So when you say forgive yourself and others to move on, you also highlight the importance, because the next one was go to therapy. Give us
Yeah.
a few words on that and how that's beneficial and why you wanted to highlight that to the viewers to go to therapy.
Yeah, I think it is extremely beneficial to go to therapy, but you have to go to somebody who is experienced with trauma, somebody is experienced with narcissism, and
Okay.
to to talk it out, to find somebody understanding, basically to somebody that reflects back to you that you as a person, you are okay, that it is not your fault. It is very beneficial to talk to somebody. And I also joined several support groups on
Hmm.
Facebook about narcissistic, and they gave me a lot of practical advice, which is wonderful.
So you are now in a position where you were getting practical advice. You were researching, you were getting information. You read up and became knowledgeable about red flags. Your
Yeah,
life started to change,
yeah,
but you still recognize that you have to be vigilant and pay attention to who you're dealing with and stay aware or be self-aware. Because if not, the person you were talking about at the beginning of the show, you could have been another victim again.
yeah, exactly. But since I'm educated with the red flags, every red flag came off, and I know exactly in the fashion business, I'm dealing with a grandiose narcissist who wants to use me for my money. And so I put a stop to it. you know.
Since you put a stop to it,
Yes.
the next one is know all red flags. That was one of the things that you sent me. That it's very important for people to know all the red flags. Again, we're talking about educating ourselves, making sure that we are educated and not just assuming that, well, every person we meet has pure motives. That sometimes we need to pay attention to the red flags. Can you name three? What are three red flags that you would recommend people to pay attention to?
Yeah, for example, once it comes to, let's say, an emotional situation where you need some kind of a support or empathy, and you're dealing with a person who shows no empathy or no remorse about what they said to you, that it would hurt your feelings, that is a huge red flag, you know.
Yeah.
Also, once it comes to money, you know, paying bills, you find out very quickly who you're dealing with. Once you confront that
That's a
person,
good one. That's a good one. I like that.
sometimes I create on purpose situations like that in order to find out who I'm dealing with. Yes.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, we have to talk about that in a minute. What's the third one? Okay, so the first one was what again?
Yes. Well, if you're in an emotional situation, let's say they're doing something to you, they're saying something to you that hurts your feeling, and you're expressing yourself, you're opening up to
Yeah.
a community and say, listen, what you did or what you said was hurting my feelings. And there's no empathy. There's gaslighting,
Okay.
you know. I had to be educated about what gaslighting is. Now I know.
Now
And
you know.
you know what put an end to in my past to gaslighting? Very simple. Security cameras in the house. Security camera.
Did you really? Did you seriously?
Oh yes, I got the security because I had teenagers. I said, well, let me see if they're drinking and partying.
Right.
No, that put an end to gaslighting because I went back into the security camera. I said, no, this is exactly what you said, you know, and this is what you meant. But, you know, it's once you confront the narcissist,
Okay.
the truth, it's quite,
So,
you know.
so emotional situations in which someone doesn't care about our feelings and they're deliberately doing things or they're lacking empathy, making sure that well, when it comes to paying for things or sharing expenses, when it comes to money,
Yeah,
people normally show their true colors when it comes to that, especially a person who's a taker. They always want to get information or things for free or do very little to return the favor, as it were. What's the third one before we move on to some other things?
yeah. Well, in my particular situation, it's like when you go out with me, I naturally grab a lot of attention, and that doesn't rub off very well on other people who want the
Uh-huh.
all attention on them. I mean,
Okay.
I don't ask for the attention, but when you're with a narcissist, they want all the conversation, all the pictures, all the attention about themselves. That is a huge red flag as
Yeah.
well.
When it comes to, I'm gonna read this, and then we're gonna take a look at some information I have here on the screen from everyone, and I believe somebody here also has a question. But I'm gonna read this, and then we're gonna come back to it. But give it some thought for a moment, and then I'm gonna read some things from the screen to you. Why did you accept the abuse? That was one of the points. Before you answer, just give it some thought for a moment, because I want to hold that question there for a moment. We're going to talk about that in a second. That was something you sent to me, was one of the lines that people need to think about. But why did you accept the abuse? I have an idea what direction you were going in, because you're not saying it in a bad way. But we're going to get to it in a moment. But you've got people sending you love, and I haven't read it to you yet. So I got to tell you that real quick before we get to that question. Catherine Rothman says, Sabine, I'm here, my love. She gives a couple of hearts. I'm going to keep scrolling up here. Others are saying hi to you. I have to read this to you. That looks like Burn Official. It says, I just let people go that don't choose to give me the energy I'm giving them. People are usually struggling with something inner, and they want others to feel their pain.
Yes.
Save Our Spirit, NYC, says, great to see you, Sabine. I'm quite sure that's Anna that's saying that. Save Our Spirit is Anna. Please correct me if I get that wrong, but I see you put Anna in for me. Thank you for doing that. Men in general thrive off of control. It's probably because fathers in general don't want their sons to look weak. Also, in their workplace, it's treating them bad, especially another man when they go home. So in other words, the man takes it out on his partner when he comes home is what Byrne
Yes.
is saying.
Yes.
Some other comments you have here. Byrne is saying, and give that energy of hurt to their spouse or girlfriend just because he was treated bad at work, which is pathetic, actually, and just wrong. He's saying that a man will go home and take it out on his spouse and girlfriend so they can feel that hurt that they had on a daily basis. Anne is saying she agrees with that. Therapy is very important. Also, Save Our Spirit, Anne is saying this. She says, therapy is very important, and it helped me with trauma and her divorce, she was saying. We need to share what we went through and learn from our past and move on into a bright, better future. That's what she's highlighting. Hopefully, Tracy Malone, my friend, if she has passed through, I'm saying hi to her if she's here or has passed through. The question that I gave you, I just wanted to read a few things. I'll get too far behind on all the comments that are here on the screen. I read you a question or a statement, really, that you were making that you wanted to talk about. And that was, why did you accept the abuse? That's the thought that you had in mind you wanted to discuss with the viewers today and give some advice from your own experience. Why did you accept the abuse that you were going through?
That's an extremely good question. And the reason why I found out in therapy is the therapist and we were examining the relationship that I had with my parents.
Oh,
and
okay.
I chose my ex-husband because he reminded me a lot of my father, who had narcissistic traits. He was a very nice, loving, funny man, but at home he had some certain narcissistic traits, and my mom would be very, very submissive. And I acted that out in my relationship. And when there were situations where I had problems with my ex, I would call my mom, and my mom always kind of took my ex-husband's side and said, he really didn't mean it like that. You have to look at it from his point of view. And he always kept me in that submissive state, Also, for me, it was also a lack of self-confidence. I have much more self-confidence now that I'm single and I'm free. Now I would not accept all these things anymore. But also I had 3 little children. When you have children that are running around, they're like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 young children, it's not so easy to stand up and leave, especially when you're financially dependent on a person. Now my children are grown. Now I was able to leave that relationship.
When you were in a position of putting yourself on your feet, I'm trying not to say something because I want you to say it. There were moments when the divorce was taking place. There were moments before the divorce and when the divorce was taking place that your son wasn't treated properly. If you understand, I'm trying not to say it for you. I'm leaving it up to you if you want to even discuss it.
Yes.
But when it comes to seeing one of your children not be treated properly by your ex, and at this point, everyone, I'm not speaking in code. I'm just speaking in respect of her privacy to a major degree and to his privacy. But when it comes to your children being mistreated or disrespected, you prove to be someone who stood up for them.
Absolutely. I can talk about it. It's okay because when my son was 15, he came out. And to me, the only thing I said was, okay, great. I love you, and I hope that you one day you find somebody nice for that was the only thing that I said. But unfortunately, my son experienced a lot of homophobic behavior from my ex, and it came to a point where I really physically had to protect my son and move him out of our own apartment because there was so much homophobic behavior, and he was afraid of AIDS and HIV, and my son, yeah, I had to protect him from being beat up or being taken to a brothel, and this is just completely unaccepted,
What
especially when we had an agreement when my children were small, like 2, 3 years old. We agreed, my ex and I, we agreed to raise the children in a very traditional way, like not giving them a dress or sending them to ballet, just very, very traditional baseball and everything. But we had an understanding that when the children come out as an adult or as a teenager, no matter who they choose to be, we would accept them. But unfortunately, it was not that the case. So I said to myself, I'm a mother first. Men come and go, but you can never, ever replace a child. And it is my job as a mom to protect my child against anybody.
one of the things that I definitely wanted to touch on, and we talked in the pre-show prep quite a while back. This is our third show together. I wanted to really, hone in on the violence aspect, or the threat of violence, or the violence part of it. People being attacked within the home.
Yes.
Did you recognize that was something not only you had to contend with, but now the children had to? I'm just asking, and I won't go too far on this subject, but
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, towards the end of the relationship, I had to face the possibility of getting beat up, and it's not. It was just a threat. It was never physically done to me, but alone the verbalization and the threat and the intimidation.
Intimidation. Yeah, that's what I wanted to. I wanted to get to that.
Yeah, definitely. And it's one thing if it happens to me, but it's another thing if it happens to my children. That's where the line comes out, and that's where.
No. Yeah. No. Well, I wanted to get to that because I want others to understand that it could be a situation where it's not physical, but the intimidation on a moment's notice could turn into physical.
Yes.
And you understand what I'm talking about. And again, if anybody wants to know more, you can personally reach out to Sabine, and she would be more than happy to talk with you. I was not going to delve too much into it per se on this show, our last show together, but I wanted this aspect to be discussed, that we need to be mindful that when you're in a situation with a narcissistic, abusive, toxic bully, whatever label you want to give it, they've got bad behavior, and they could turn at a moment's notice. To really be careful with that and seek the proper shelter and the proper connections and the authorities that can help you. It was a concern of mine. I deliberately did not touch on it the first two shows because I wanted to make sure in this third show I wanted to at least touch on it. If you want to know more, feel free to reach out to her. If you've been friends with her or just met her and you didn't know this aspect of her life, trust me, you would want to know. Please make sure you look out for your neighbors and friends, because an intimidating man or woman, bully, narcissist, toxic, whichever way you like to call it should not be trusted. But a few things before we go on. You got a lot happening here. Matthew Reality says even coaches need coaching. Same thing with therapists. Very intelligent and practical answers. When it comes to many women do, unfortunately, I was trying to read that. I've got a Byrne. Tell me a little bit more what you meant there, what you had in mind. Enchanted, Carmisha says, looking beautiful, my friend. So, you're getting your love there. But I wanted to get to ST Pantera. Let's do that. ST Pantera says, how do you know someone who is using you versus someone who needs you? Since today is Sabina's advice day, go right ahead.
That is an interesting, very deep question. Very good question. I think that a partnership is based on giving and taking.
Yeah.
But a partnership is one-sided, that you are always just giving and giving and giving. And then when there is
Yeah.
a situation that you need emotional support, or let's say you're sick and
Yeah.
the is not there, not even
Yeah.
bringing a glass of water or not picking you up from a doctor, then
Yeah.
there's a big difference,
Yeah. You can always tell a taker. They're always critical. They're always finding something
Yeah.
wrong, but they themselves, yeah, what's interesting is I had somebody, a podcaster, we all talk to each other, and one of them was telling me they had people that would show up in their lives and they want to criticize how they do the show, but they don't have a show.
Yeah.
And then out of the blue, he went like, that kind of reminds me of my first wife. And it was just funny when he said it, because he said she could never do what I was doing, but she always wanted to criticize it and then get my paycheck.
Exactly.
He ended up finding out later that of course, she had issues that he didn't want to have to deal with, like having another man in her life. But anyhow, so, other than her husband. But eventually, he recognized that there are people out there like that who are just takers, and there's
Yes.
nothing we can do about that. It is not our responsibility. It's our
Yes.
responsibility to do the best that we can, and usually they criticize or they take because they want attention, because they can't go do it on their own. And
Exactly.
the best thing we could do for people like that is ignore them, unfollow them, disconnect from them. They can watch us and do whatever they need to do, but in actuality, we just ignore them and move on to people. Let you describe. Matter of fact, I get back to your notes that you sent me. One
Mm-hmm.
of the things that you mentioned was review, or in other words, take a look at your relationship with your parents, or that could also include siblings and others.
Yes.
Why was it important to review your relationship with your parents? How did that help you in your current relationships at the time and moving forward? How did
Yeah.
it help you?
1 second. Let me just turn this
Nope.
off. Hold on.
You see what happens when you.
Because I'm popular.
It's not. It's now Roger's calling you. If you don't know who that is, go take a look. Google him. But
Yeah.
tell him he should come be on my show. But anyhow, go ahead. So why was it important for you to review your relationship with your parents, and how did that affect you moving forward?
This is the most important thing in adult life, is to examine the relationship with your parents, because usually you set yourself up to repeat the relationship when you get married. You choose somebody that reminds you of your mother or of your father, the
Yeah.
same with other siblings. And to me, it was extremely important to recognize why I chose and accept all this abuse is because of my parents, and I don't want to make the same mistakes going into another relationship.
Right. Right. And if you carry those mistakes into the next relationship, then it never gets better. The problems get even bigger as you go from one relationship to another. And some people, I did a show prep with a psychologist and a therapist, and they both were highlighting that there are some people, they literally have been living their life hopping from bed to bed, job to job, and
Yep.
now they do it on social media. They hop from one person's live or another person's this or that. They just keep moving around because they're not settled with who they are, because they've
Yeah.
never taken the time to become aware or self-aware. You took the time to be self-aware. When you did that, it was not easy.
It was the hardest thing in my life, to be very, very truthful with me. It really The last 2.5 years have been, or let's say the last 3 years have been life-changing. Emotionally the most difficult. It rips you apart, to be or more than 20 years with another person, and then to be alone for the first time on your own, to be single,
Yeah.
and to have as a single mother. It's emotionally, it's devastating. It was worse than the death of my parents,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
to be very, very truthful about yourself, about your relationship, about all the friendships that you're having,
You had to you had to review that too, didn't you?
alone. I lost all my friends, all my friends.
Wow. Look,
Yeah.
I gotta move on to this next one. Speaking of losing everyone, you reviewing your relationship with your parents and with your friends and so forth. But the next thing, one of the other things that you wrote me is, don't be afraid to be alone. Why is that important? Why is that important?
Because the relationship to yourself is the most important. It is okay to be in bed or on the couch and feel the feelings of the separation, feel the loss feeling, feel the hurt feeling. Don't distract yourself. You need to get in touch with these feelings. Talk to a professional person about these feelings. Feel these feelings. Because once you feel these feelings and you accept what happens, then you're ready to move on. Then you're ready to dust off the bad experiences and say, okay, yes, now it's time to let and to live my life. Who am I? What do I want? What do I need? And move on in a different direction. I was not alone. It's okay. I was not lonely because I have God in my life, and God is always with me.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was about to ask you, so were you lonely? And you just answered it. Individuals can be by themselves, but that doesn't mean that they're lonely. Was it a challenge once the children let you know it was decided that they were moving out, because now you're in the home without any of the adult children there? What adjustments have you found that you have either made or have continued and needed to make so that you make the best out of the situation now that they have, as it were, flown the coop?
Yeah, well, I gave my children wings, and it's
I like that.
it's time to fly. And I enjoy being alone in the apartment. I find my charger. I find my makeup. Apartment clean and quiet.
You don't have to ask anybody. You don't have to go.
Quiet. Nobody wakes me up at 2, 3 in the morning without music.
You got the remote all to yourself. I do it if I want to.
I found the remote. After 4 months of looking, I found the remote.
You don't put food in the refrigerator and it disappears. You go like, who ate my?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I got to go to another one here. You wrote me a number of things. We're going to do the best we can here. If not, then I'm going to sit here and tell you right now, you're just going to have to come back, but we're going to do it differently. You're going to come to my YouTube channel and we'll do a live over there. Because there's a pretty good chance. I know there's 3 more pages here. There's no way I'm getting that done right now. So anyhow, I'll get to some of the more that I have here. Let's do this. I'm going to do this. You said this. Don't care about 3 things. You said. This is what you said. I know everybody's writing things, but I'm really going to do my best to bring some of those in a moment. Just give me a moment. But here we go. You said this. You're amazing. People often ask me, how do you find who you want to be on the show? Why this person? And you could have this psychologist or this really famous person. I find you fascinating. You're just fascinating. So you wrote this. You wrote me, and you wrote me these things. And it says, don't care about 3 things. 1, smear campaign. 2, other people's opinion. 3, once someone shows you who they are the first time, believe them. That's what you said.
Oh, yes.
So I find it fascinating that you may, this is what you said, don't care about. That's what you wrote in 1, 2, 3. I got a thing going off over here. I have to turn it off in a second. Don't worry about a smear campaign. Why? Just as quickly as you can. Why?
Well, it happened to me, and at the beginning when I was not so educated about the whole narcissism, of course it hurts feelings. Of course, because yourself, you know what the truth is, that you don't deserve all these lies and the smear campaign. But then again, I said to myself, okay, are these people paying my bills? No.
Did you put your hand on the hip like you're doing?
Yes, exactly.
I'm sorry. Exactly. You're amazing. Go ahead.
They're not paying my bills. I know that I'm
more man.
than these people. I'm a good person.
Yep.
I happen to like myself, and if they are believing these lies and taking sides, and okay, that is fine. Let them believe what they want to believe. Let them whatever they want to think. Has nothing to do with me. I move on. I put myself out there. I leave the house looking fabulous, going outside, meeting new people, new set of friends, and living my best life. This is the best revenge. Looking good, best life, and being happy.
Look, okay, everybody take note. If you get nothing else from the show, and I've got a little juicy stuff that she sent me, I'm gonna try to get it in, but this is good. Looking good.
Yes.
And being happy.
Exactly.
I like that. I like that. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and jump to the other thing that you wrote me was, the next one was, don't give up. Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead and preach from the pulpit. I mean, preach from the podium. Go ahead and preach. Don't give up. Why is it important for us to have that locked into our head when we're dealing with a smear campaign and a number of other things from a narcissist? Why is it important, my friend?
No matter what happens in life, meaning you're sick. I've been in a wheelchair. I was sick. I was misdiagnosed, got the wrong medication, was not able to eat myself, dress myself, not able to shower. I never gave up. I never, ever give up. No matter what happens to you, emotional abuse, financial abuse, okay, get another job, get your finances in order, save money, get away from the nasty people, and just surround yourself with nice people. Don't ever give up, because you know that you're a good person, you're nice, you're caring, and you don't deserve that. Okay, don't give up. Never ever. No matter what happens.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Don't give up and get away from the nasty people. Yes. I love the way you say things. Okay, that was awesome. Then you wrote me, listen to your intuition. By the way, when you sent me these, I didn't tell you, but I'm going to tell you right now. It was like having my sister write me or something. I just, you know how you sent it to me. And it was like you were just sending me these notes, and I was like, this is so cool. Great advice. You said, listen to your intuition. Why is that important? Especially for young people that watch these shows now. Many of them don't have parents, or they come from a divorced home, children of alcoholics, abuse, molestation. Some of them have been raped. I get a lot of information from people that watch the show and appreciate the guests. Speak to them right now. When you say, listen to your intuition, what does that mean for them?
Yeah, this is what I'm always teaching my children. The intuition is a little fuzzy feeling that comes from the stomach, from inside of yourself, where you feel uncomfortable or comfortable, where your body is telling you that it's an inner voice. It's a feeling that comes out. And if you trust that feeling, let's say, are you with a good person? You're feeling very relaxed and you're feeling full. And after you with that person, or when you're with a taker, you feel depleted and unsatisfied, or in a dangerous situation. Before a dangerous situation happened, a lot of times, especially women, have that intuition. This is getting dangerous. Get out.
Yeah.
Always, always, always listen to your intuition. Because when I did not listen to my intuition, it always turned out into a disaster. But once now I'm in so much more in tune with my intuition, because I know it's that little fuzzy voice inside that is telling truth. And once you listen to that, follow that little voice. Don't try to overrun it by logic, by logical thinking. No, listen to that feeling on the inside.
Yeah. You're exceptionally an amazing woman. I would love to be your neighbor. I just, me and my daughters would come over and visit you and like, okay, just tell us some stuff that's in your head. Just give it to us. I love it. Okay, now on the screen, let's just do this real quick here with everybody. I thank everyone for being here. My first show back after almost a week, and so I'm a little extremely rusty. But my dear friend Sabine has been kind enough to be here with me. So Lizzie 805 says, love it. She says, stay away from toxic people. I agree with you 1,000%, my friend. I can't even say it enough. There are a lot of ways we try to be positive, and we could find ourselves becoming negative. Of course, we all can go down that path about ourselves and situations and other people. But it really gets worse when we're hanging around, as you call it, nasty people, negative people. We can find ourselves in that muck and mire like they are, and we need to make sure we have to stay away from bad association. It can spoil so many things. It says, that looks like Thelma, if I said that correct, Lady Reyes. She says, you're a fierce warrior, Sabine. Keep soaring, Dr. Thelma. Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Thelma. Thank you so much for saying that for her as well. Anna says, don't give up. Believe in yourself. Listen to your intuition. Follow your dreams and spread hope and love. The beautiful statement. Fashion Harris says that little boy she's speaking about becomes your best friend and like a living witness. Very important that we listen to our intuition, because it can be quite protective if we really relax and listen to it. April says great advice, with love to you for that. We are nearing about 10 minutes or thereabouts. We're going to end the show, but I got to do some fast stuff here. Okay, here we go.
Yes, sure.
You said, now remember, now everybody, she wrote me this stuff as the 12 principles. Okay, I take everything people send me positive, like what you sent to me, personal and encouraging. I don't get hate mail, but I ignore people who are negative. Anyhow, I can't do nothing to help them. But your information, I absorbed it many times over. But you said very plainly and very clear, don't be a victim.
Yes.
Be, you said, 1, a survivor, 2, a warrior. You specifically said and wrote it out, don't be a victim. And by the way, when I say wrote it out, she didn't type it out, everybody. Okay. She wrote it. She literally hand wrote it out to me.
Yeah.
Multiple pieces of paper, and then took pictures of it and sent it to me. It's just, no, listen, I've got it in a special folder. It means a lot to me. Don't be a victim. Be a survivor. Be a warrior. Why is that advice that you passed on to me so important for the viewers to keep in mind when they're dealing with a narcissistic person?
This is one of the most important changes. When you look at the situations, the bad situations that happen to you, you can look at it from a point of a victim. That you're still victimized, you feel sorry for yourself, and you're getting stuck in that victim mode. And I purposely, every single day, said to myself, you are not a victim. You are a survivor. You're a survivor. So I changed the point of view into a survivor. I said, okay, it happened to me, but guess what? I'm doing something about it. I'm not accepting it anymore. I'm fighting back.
Right. Fighting back, right?
Fear comes out in me, meaning lawyers, and I get back to you.
Okay. So the same mama bear the same fighter that came out for your children started to do it for yourself now.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah, don't mess with me.
Yeah, nope. Wait, we got to say it. We said it in the show prep, and you know it's my favorite thing. I love hearing you say it's something about homie. What is it again?
Homie, don't play that.
I love when you say that. I don't know what it is. It is like I'm telling you, you got to make a shirt that says that. You gotta wear it to one of those galas that you go to or whatever. And just okay. So homie, don't play that. So everybody, add that whenever you go to Sabine's page or when I post this, just type that in there. Homie, don't play that. And when you're dealing with your narcissist, just think of Sabine. You know, if you think of this show, 3 shows with her, we said it in each one. She said it in the show prep when we did it. And I think that is just amazing. You got to say that in the show. Homie, don't play that. Just look at the narc and go like, hey, homie, don't play that. You go ahead and do whatever you want to go do, but I ain't got no time for what you doing. Because, yeah, I'm a superhero today. Homie, don't play that. Okay, so here we go. 3 things. Another 3 things, more that you gave me. You said 1, once it's past, let it go. 2, live in the present. 3, practice gratitude. Again, 1, everybody didn't plan to take notes today or that you were going to go to school, but we were at the footstool of lady advice today, the goddess of advice, as it were. Once it's past, let it go. 2, live in the present.
Yes.
And 3, you highlighted practice gratitude. All 3 of those were important to highlight to me when you wrote me. Why is that important for young people, all of us, survivors of abuse? Why is it important to have these 3 things in mind?
In order to move on, you have to let go. And this is, I think, probably the hardest for everybody. How do I let go? Because it's like the abuse, all these situations are always in your mind, or you're being triggered by another situation, or you're being triggered by a smell, or you're being triggered by a song or whatever, or a person
a movie, a restaurant, you know, right.
And always trigger it. But it is so important to let go, accept what happened, and fulfill your life with things that you enjoy. Maybe you enjoy sport, maybe you enjoy cultural things, depending on what you like. Fill the present up with joyful things, maybe a new job, a new relationship, new friends. Move on.
New hair color, new hairdo, new
Whatever.
wardrobe.
Yes.
Or I had one guest, I can't remember who said it now. One guest highlighted the importance you're saying about like moving on and so forth. Don't expect it to be overnight, but one way to jumpstart it, oh my goodness, I almost said her name, is to take on classes. She mentioned, well, when she got divorced from her narc, she mentioned the fact of being a person that wanted to do something new that she had never done, but always wanted to do, but was afraid to do it by herself. So whatever it was that was afraid to do by herself, she wrote out all of them. Whatever it was that she wanted to do, but she always wanted to do with someone else, and then she went by herself to go do them. Yes. She took dancing classes. She went, what was that zip line thing? She went and did that. She went skiing by herself. She did a bunch of things by her. She got a suite as if she would normally would with her husband or ex-husband. Mm-hmm. And she just said, no, I'm going to do it and go by myself. I'm going to get a suite. Not just a regular hotel room. You know, she treated herself so well. And before she knew it, she had enough good memories that clouded out the negativity and any type of flashbacks that she had. So I just wanted to say, you are amazing for doing this with me 3 times. And because I have so much more information here that we did not get to, that you wrote me, I look forward to you being on my YouTube channel and doing a live with me over there. We will work that out. Hopefully we can do it next month. But if you had to describe what it has been like for you to help other people stay away from narcissistic abuse and to recover, what has it been like for you to help other people when it comes to narcissism?
For me, it's very rewarding just knowing that I help other people. Like, for example, the last time when we went off the show, one of my best friends contacted me, and he said that it was very educational and liberating to listen to me, and he's willing now to stay more home and work on his marriage. And that gratitude,
Wow.
that fulfillment, that I know I touched somebody's life in a
Yeah.
positive way, that all the things that I went through are not for nothing. And just, always knew that in some kind of a way, what I experienced will be for the benefit of somebody else. And just the fact that he said, you know what, I am really willing to work on my marriage now. It was so liberating. And that is a wonderful feeling. It's gratifying. I love it. It's nice.
Yeah. And I have to tell you, when we were done with the other show, you sent me some information after that. And thank you so much for making me tear up. That was very sweet what you wrote. This show is to help other people. But the items that you sent me true to be so encouraging, I've shared them with others privately, some of the points. I look forward to doing this again on the YouTube channel and really opening it up to others to be able to see in a much larger audience. But those who watched the last two shows, the shows that we have already done, a few of the people that I speak to regularly and give input on the show, and I can trust them, they said that they needed to, and I joked about it earlier, they needed to watch you with a notepad or some Post-it notes, because you would have these one-liners that they needed to keep in mind. And one of the ladies, she said she just posted them up on her refrigerator to remind her not to go back, not to give in to the Hoover, but to move, as you say, and I love to say also, to move on or move forward.
Yes.
It helped her move forward. So I just wanted to share that one with you. There were others. And everybody that's here, I truly appreciate it, but I've got to say this: go away, come back, says it perfectly. Homie, don't play that. She's reminding us that was from In Living Color back in the day, which we talked about that before. So there is your connection right there with Go Away, Come Back, and Sabine. You both are absolutely correct. Homie, don't play that was from back in the day. Thank you, Sabine, for being vulnerable and sharing your experiences. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy to have you in my life. And that's from Anna. Anna is Save Our Spirit _ New York City. Everyone that's been able to come to our low budget show, which is now predominantly going to be moving to YouTube, I wanted to make sure to tell you that you will still see shows here on Instagram periodically, but we will be doing the majority of our work now on YouTube. But I want you, my friend, to know that you are a great source of inspiration because you are brave and courageous and a woman of class. And how can I say that without ever personally meeting you? Is because I can see it in your eyes. It's in your tone of voice. It's the way you and I have interacted with one another. You are always classy, and you're always very much so down to earth. So I thank you so much for doing this with me. We were going to do one show, and you were kind enough to agree to 3, and now you're saying you will do another, and I appreciate that because the audience truly appreciates you, and they love your style and the way you are willing to help people. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. You've made me have a really great first day back, so thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, so
We need champagne.
hey, you know what? I told you I can't live that high life anymore, girl. I can't do that. I'm retired. You know, it costs money to keep this show going. Everybody, please keep this in mind. I'm going to throw this out to you. If you can, go to our Recovery Zone store that is set up by Boodle's Art Gallery. If you want to donate, buy one shirt for the whole year that keeps the electricity getting paid and all the equipment we get to keep our show going. Just check out our store on our website. Please like, comment, share, follow Sabine. Sabine, I don't know how you are able to stay up at night and keep dancing, but here we go. The question I wasn't going to ask you, and now I've got the courage to ask you because I'm not afraid of anything at my age now. But here we go. Here we go. 3 things I'm going to ask you to choose from. And I want you to tell me which one you like best, or you can put them in an order. Last thought for this show. Here we go. If you had a choice of the type of dance that describes who you are, and you had to choose between the cha-cha, the tango, or breakdancing, which one best describes you?
None of them.
Did not see that coming. I did not see that coming.
I am old school R&B and
Oh, look at you. Look at you. You know what? You've been hanging around too many chocolate people. That's just, I'll tell you like this. See, they're gonna have to. You got to get a shirt that says white chocolate. You keep that up. So you got to. Okay. So those 3. So you are old school R&B. All right. So you do know that in the after the 70s, between 75 and I'm going to say between 75 and 1990, a lot of children were born because R&B was real big in the 70s. So I just want to throw. That's a factual statement. I'll find it one day. Everybody just got to believe Narc Abuse TV when I give you that info. Okay. Anyhow, fake news. Okay. So just keep that in mind. You keep too much R&B. Yeah, I know you got 3 children. I know. I rest my case. Hey, I'm the last of 7. I had to tell my parents to turn the radio off. So I don't need a brother number 8 and number 9. Okay, so anyhow, listen, thank you so much for being so kind, for doing this. Everybody, I love each and every one of you for putting up with me, and all of you for writing what you're doing. Sabine is the best freestyle dancer, Anna said. There you go. Hey, you want to stay freestyle? Stay away there. Don't you start now. This ain't Soul Train. So everybody, be there you go. Be a freestyle dancer. Stay away from a narc, please. NPD Recovery Red Flags. Go check out her page. Check out Save Our Spirit page and everybody else that's here. Lizzie 805, others. Fashion Harris. Get Tracy Malone's new book on divorcing a narcissist. A lot of great information there. And everybody, please come on and take a look at a lot of the stuff that we have not put out there. You'll see it on our YouTube page. There's a lot of shows that we've been holding on to for about a year, and you haven't seen them. Feel free to take a look at them. And please continue to like, comment, share, follow my friend Sabine, and support us at our Recovery Zone donation purchase store. Everybody, I love you guys. Have a good weekend. Stay safe, my friend. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Love you too. Bye-bye.